Hello! Hi! This video I'm going to be just kind of talking about their song, critiquing it slightly, and I also did a cover of it to kind of show what I would do differently. But before we start, I want to kind of just make this disclaimer. Do not send these girls hate. I honestly think it's gone way too far and way out of proportion. Not really regulated to criticism anymore. It's kind of just gone to overall hating them or making up lies about them in order to fuel your hate. There's so many rumors and so many things about them on Twitter, on the internet right now, which are completely fake, and they're obviously fake, and people are seeing them as completely true and not even doing any of the research. I do blame myself from my last video for being one of those people who didn't do enough research on one particular topic, which was the fandom name thing. I should have went to see if on their official social media they actually had that fandom name, and they didn't, and I'm sorry that I made that mistake. I deeply regret that I added fuel to the fire. For example, there's a lot of things going around where it's showing their Kaachi album track list, which has like 14 songs. By the way, they haven't talked about a comeback at all. They literally just released a song, and it's all BTS songs, but it's just like the opposite. So on would be like off and stuff like that, and it looks so fake, and it's obvious how fake it is, but people are like, oh my god. And I saw a lot of things being like, well, they plagiarized this, so it doesn't really matter. I think it does matter that you are making stuff up about people in order to just hate on them. Act like, oh, it's fine if we make that up because they did this once. That's not right. That doesn't make sense doing that, because it doesn't help anything. It's just being vicious to be vicious. Anyway, now I'm gonna go criticize the song. I overall think the song has so much potential, but it was lost when they recorded it, and their vocals were so weak. There were so many parts that were missing, and overall the song just felt empty. I am going listen to the song right now. I'm not watching the music video. I'm just going to do the lyric video, the home edition, because quarantine.
It's Kaachi!
A lot of people found the "it's Kaachi" part quite they found that part quite cringy, but I feel like it kind of works. I'm not gonna lie. To me it does still give me like a ooh. Like, I feel like you have to listen to it like 100 times to get used to it, but apart from that, it's fine. Junsa kind of does it quite good.
I don't need to know whatever her name is, 'cause I know you'll be okay.
Okay, so the first line we get is Coco. After listening to this song a couple times, Coco has the weakest vocals out of the whole group. Lackluster. I'm guessing in the studio she recorded the line and then they just chose the best parts and then left it at that. There's no doubles, there's nothing on it from what I can hear. This is a big problem throughout the whole song, and I have to say the person who edited the vocals, who did this, you did them dirty, whoever you are. The tuning is not fine-tuned, so when it comes to tuning vocals, they don't just slap on some random auto-tune. What they do is they fine-tune it. So each note is individually modified, individually like put up or down, the waves made smaller, in order to kind of get a perfect pitch sound, so it sounds right to the ear. The problem with Coco's lines is that it sounds like they just slapped on some tuning. It's hooking the notes that are under or above the note that she's aiming to go to. No, you'll be okay, like that. It goes, no, you'll be okay, and does like stuff like that, and goes, eh, and it sounds unpleasing to the ears. Junsa, I would say, the second best voice in the group. However, very weak in these lines. Because I think she is not a singer, there's not really any emotion or expression to go with what she's singing. This section overall feels quite empty because it is very pause, silence, silence, silence. It isn't flowing that well. There's a lot of empty parts which they could have added in some, I don't know, some delays. So it could have been like a call and receive kind of thing. Bad boy, kind of like that thing. And that would have made it sound a lot more fuller, and it would have kind of brought the energy that the song was really needing. The group wouldn't get as much criticism if they were all really good singers, or they all have had a past in singing and they can sing. Nicole's part anyway, she seems so far like the best singer in the group. She has more control over her voice. She can convey things a lot better. Danny's also singing in here and she blends quite well with Nicole's voice, so I do quite like that. However, it still feels a bit lackluster. So I would have added in some like haze or oohs or yeah, like things like that in between some notes to kind of like hype up the main vocals and make them just sound a lot more tighter and together. Harmonies on here are really nice. This is the best part. Sunsa's You Need to Let Him Go. I love that part. The distortion effect, her overall delivery of that line was great. Danny's harmonies, that was good. That sounded really nice. But Nicole's part, there was no harmonies on hers, or there were no backing vocals or extra vocals to kind of boost it up. It sounded kind of out of place. Danny's harmonies and her part was going, then Nicole's none, and it just seemed like, ooh, that's a bit jarring. I love how Coco's just chilling, like, for the chorus, the overall vibe of it is there, but it's missing the energy. Backing vocals, we need some doubles, we need maybe some haze or some kind of responses. The your turn, love hurts, that thing. I would have added a lot more backing vocals or like shouty kind of like Itzy-ish backing vocals to make it sound like there's a bunch of people in the back, which would have really brought the song together. It would have given the song energy. I really like the harmony on the you don't really want it, but it really felt lackluster again because she was primarily using her head voice for that. If it was her chest voice, so basically kind of belted it, it would have sounded a lot better, be a bit more hyped up, you know?
No, he's got on you, girl, but she ain't got nothing on you.
I love Coco's British accent on it though. And before you come for me and be like, she's Korean. Well, she's been living in England, so when she speaks English, she picks up a British accent. So I do love the got nothing on you. I think it works for the song. But I will have to say, vocals were not it on that part. Again, with the tuning thing, it seemed to get the notes under the note that was intended. It sounded a bit flat. So sorry. This overall kind of verse part is the same as the last one. It can feel a bit boring if you're gonna re-listen to it again. I guess it is the break in the song, but I would have liked to have some differentiation in the notes there. The 걔는 그냥 bad boy. The 걔는 comes in slightly too late, and then it speeds up a bit too fast on the 그냥. Personally, I do enjoy the Danny Nicole backwards parts. I really like the kind of dynamic they have going on. I would have loved to hear some ha's in the background to kind of just boost up that pre-chorus. When they're doing a high energy song, you would expect them to have energy. And that's the main thing I'm lacking here. This chorus is the exact same as the other one. It can be slightly boring to the ears because you're listening to the same thing. Now let's go on to Danny's rap. Very lackluster. I think, however, throughout the whole song, this has been the best use of doubles that I can hear. I like the little like juice kind of things and stuff. She did lack the energy there. 더 이상 필요하지 않아. You know? If it was just a bit more 더 이상 필요하지 않아. couldn't 생각하지 마. Like if it was just a bit more forward, I think it could have sounded a lot better. The flow is simple, but I don't know if she made it or someone else made it, so I can't blame her for that. I hope she can improve because I feel like rapping is going to be a lot easier to improve on than it would be for the rest to sing. I love this part. This is the part I love about the song. I wouldn't change anything. I would honestly say that is the best part of the song overall. I love the instrumental. I love that they added the weights and stuff like that. I thought that fit really well. Now there's a transition into the chorus again. They could have done something different there. They could have, like, at the end of the boom, act like it's the end, then, like, kind of have, like, a little vocal or something like, not yet, and then gone straight to the chorus. That would have been different, and that would have been really cool to hear. So, do you know what was different about the last chorus? If you couldn't pick it up, it wasn't the vocals, it was actually the backing track, it was the instrumental. There were some added instruments, like dun, dun, dun. Actually brought it together and sounded like a good ending. I would have boosted those up a bit more. My main critiques of the song are technically, weak vocals, lack of energy. Overall, the song feels quite empty, so I would add in backing vocals in there. Lack of differentiation in choruses and verses. The song has so much potential. Actually, I really do enjoy the kind of song overall in the sense of musically. Anyway, I did a version of this song. So, I'm going to show you it now. I'm gonna record it like I would do a normal cover, but instead of writing the lyrics at the bottom, I am going to write every part I changed or something I added in. Let's go to my cover. I don't need to know whatever her name is, 'cause I know you'll be okay. You can do this. 걔는 같이 없어. You're better off without him. 우리 같이 믿어. You're still hurting. 걔는 같이 없어. You're better off. You need to let him go. Your turn, love hurts. It's just the way it is. My words, he's not the one. Get over it. You don't really want it. You don't really want him, baby. Your turn, love hurts. It's just the way it is. We can take it slow. No, he's got a new girl, but she ain't got nothing on you. 생각하지 마. 걔는 그냥 baboy. 후회하겠지. 우리 같이 있자. You can do this. 걔는 같이 없어. You're better off without him. 우리 같이 믿어. You're still hurting. 걔는 같이 없어. You're better off. You need to let him go. Your turn, love hurts. It's just the way it is. My words, he's not the one. Get over it. You don't really want it. You don't really want him, baby. Your turn, love hurts. It's just the way it is. 더 이상 필요하지 않아. 그런 생각하지 마. Thinking about picking up the phone. 그만해. Only if you needed me there. Word on the streets is you gotta cut him loose. If he can't see that you're coming with the juice, sipping on my tea, you know what you gotta do. You need to let him go. Your turn, love hurts. You need to let him go. Your turn, love hurts. It's just the way it is. My words, he's not the one. Get over it. You don't really want it. You don't really want him, baby. Your turn, love hurts. It's just the way it is. We can take it slow. No, he's got a new girl, but she ain't got nothing on you. 생각하지 마. 걔는 그냥 baboy. 후회하겠지. 우리 같이 있자. You can do